If you click this video, you're wondering how I get my contractors clients, how I deliver for them, and how we actually get them more jobs. Not only more jobs, but jobs they actually want and jobs that move the needle forward and get them the type of revenue they're looking for when hiring an agency. Now, if you're a contractor, this is something you can use when the marketing agency approaches you and you have the tools necessary to break down to see if they're actually legit and doing the right thing that they need to do in order to get you the clients or jobs that you want. Now, one of the most valuable things marketing agencies kind of just skim over is identifying who their client's ICP is. Not all ads work for every single client that you have. It's not just a cookie cutter copy and paste. Even though they're in the same industry, that doesn't always mean that the same exact ads will work for each individual client that you have or each contractor that you are working with. Now, as a marketer myself, we have identified this issue with countless agencies who kind of run the same exact ads for different types of clients. Now, I'm sure you guys have already seen a lot of copy and pasting going on with all of these AI tools that are being implemented, and the list goes on and on. Now, the whole purpose of this video is to give you guys the most amount of value I can possibly give, or the knowledge I have, for absolutely free. The only thing I ask for you is your attention to follow along. And if you have any feedback at all on what you would like to see, go ahead and drop a comment down below. Now, what I've done here is create a 6-page document going over our entire system of how we use it and how we resonate with our ICP or our client's ICP. Now, like I said, even though some of your clients are in the same industry, that doesn't always mean that the same ads for each client will work. So you can use this and get creative. At the end of the day, that is your job. That is your guys' job, to grab attention and get in front of people who you guys resonate with. Now, I'm just going to dive straight into here, not waste any more of your guys' time. So the entire overview of this entire presentation is most contractors don't necessarily have a lead problem, they have a system problem. Now, what we build is super simple, but it's super structured, and it's a pipeline you can actually use in order to get the clients you want. Now, it starts from traffic, that's meta ads, SEO, stuff like that. You capture them with your creatives. That can be either static imaging, video ads. I can show some examples there, as well as copywriting, stuff like that. You qualify them with instant forms, GHL forms. This is probably one of the most important steps in this entire thing. And then you follow up with the pipelines that you have built or whatever CRM you're using. And obviously after that entire thing, you're closing these clients. Now, another key thing you have here is retention, or you can also add referrals here. Referrals can always be one of your biggest drivers of top line revenue, because if you do a good job, a lot of the clients that you guys are working with will like to brag to the people that they are close with, and that is a way you get customers for free. Well, not necessarily for free because you did this entire system, but you've already done all the hard work, so might as well have a system that incentivizes referrals, so therefore you get longer retention with these clients and new clients potentially. So each part really matters here. If one breaks, the entire system underperforms, and that is super, super true, because without one of these, you will not have an entire system that works, because you'll have leaks in the entire pipeline. With that all being said, let's get into the actual stuff you are here for. What we have here at number 1 is traffic, which is also paid attention, meta ads, SEO, stuff like that. This is where we generate demand. This is where people first see you. This is their first touch point with your company or your client's company, whatever it may be. This is where people see you. Now, we primarily use meta ads. That's Facebook, Instagram ads. We do some SEO stuff as well with Google, but our main focus is meta ads. And we're super focused on local targeting. That is our number 1 priority here, because these are local service-based businesses, and that only makes sense. Now, going back to what's actually working, or what's actually working for us, is the before and after transformations. Those have been doing super well on Facebook as well as Instagram. Instagram has actually been doing really hot with those, because it just feels more organic. And with some of these overlays you can do with the AI tech stuff, it's super realistic and it sounds really good. It's not like a robot. So you can kind of tell a story through these before and after transformations, and it holds retention super, super high. Because if you can story tell your entire way through the video and you have that good before and after footage, your retention is super high, and they'll likely stay to the end of the video. And then you can have your CTA at the end of the video, but you have to kind of be a storyteller with that. Static before and after images still do super well on Facebook. This is an example of one of the ads we made.
Not every paint job goes the way homeowners expect.
So as you can see right there, we already have a hook that's getting these people to understand what this is already about.
The owners of this home here in the Lower Mainland had actually hired someone else first. hoping to refresh the inside of their house.
Now, this is an actual scenario of something that happened, or it seems to be a SO. So you already have the hook and you already have where the story is going. And this allows the customer to already see the end picture of how this is going to go.
But the results weren't great. Uneven lines.
But then in this one, we hit them with an unexpected turn, like they did it not so good a job and they didn't deliver as what was promised. So then this just kind of continues.
And areas that just didn't look finished. Areas, and repainted the entire interior with a feels brighter, cleaner, have looked from the start. And thinking of make sure the job is done right the first time.
Then boom, after the video, there'll be a CTA in the copywriting. It'll be like get a quote or learn more. And then after that, they would, you know, essentially fill out the instant form or go to your GHL form. That was just an example of a video. There's a million different videos. You can go on the Meta Ads library and figure out what type of videos you want to test. It's super important for you guys to be testing as many videos as possible. It's not just like a find one then stop. This is super important for contractors. You guys need to be taking as much content as possible. Real job site footage does super well if it's the homeowner and he knows how to get in front of the camera and talk to them. And you can just script out some of these video ideas so you're not having to come up with some of this stuff. That's kind of what I do for some of these videos as well. You build a skeleton with AI prompting it, and it builds you a skeleton of different variations or video ideas, because I know most of the contractors out there aren't, you know, extremely good with the camera or good with the phone stuff online. So this is super simple. It kind of does everything for you. All you have to do is go out there and get good footage. Make sure it's good footage. We don't want to be out there and getting crappy footage because then we obviously can't use it. But that being said, that really resonates with customers because they can see who you are, that you are a real person, and it's not all just AI ads. They can see that you are a true business owner. You know, you're trying to earn their business, you're trying to earn their service. So this kind of resonates pretty well. And then obviously we have simple offer-based ads. So this is like having your price. This is more for like static imaging. You have your price, some imaging behind it, like what your service is. I'll show you an example as well. This is an example of a static image that we use. Obviously, you can see we have our price here. We have their logo. It's super simple. It's straight to the point. A lot of times people that you advertise will fill out the instant form just to find out what the price is. And that ruins your ad because maybe you're getting these low cost per results, but the type and quality of leads are really garbage, and this will save you a lot of time. So that's why you want to test video and static imaging, especially nowadays, because you never know which ad is going to print. Now, moving along here, the goal here is to not look pretty. It's to stop attention and to create intent. Your whole job here is to get in front of these customers or to get in front of your ideal customer and to stop their attention, which I know is extremely hard nowadays, especially since retention is at an all-time low because of how many different images and videos people are seeing nowadays. I think there's a stat online which is insane that goes over this. I'm gonna look it up real quick. Yeah, so right here, the average person is exposed to between 4,000 and 10,000 digital ads, images, and videos daily. So for you to get in there and to stop their attention and to reel them in like a hook has to stand out. If they're seeing all of these images and videos every single day, if you are just another ad or just like your competitor, they're just going to scroll right past it and you're not going to stop them, and you're just going to be wasting money on ads. So I really want to hone in on this because it is super important. A lot of people look past this for how simple it is. A lot of contractors really just think it's as simple as throwing up an ad and creating a video, and then, you know, you will get clients or these type of jobs that you want. And it's really not. It's a lot more complicated than that. A lot of psychology and marketing really goes into this stuff. So like I said, the goal here is not to look pretty. It's to stop the attention and grab intent. And now what we have here is lead capture. Once someone clicks your ad, we keep it simple. We use Meta Instant Forms. That's low friction. That creates more leads, but also less quality of leads. I'm sure a lot of you contractors have gotten a lot of tire kickers or a lot of people that aren't even buyers. That's just kind of how the industry is. Every single lead is not always going to be a closed job, especially if some of your guys' close rate is like 20 to 30%. You can expect some of these to not be closed jobs. Now, with that being said, there are multiple different ways to bring your cost per lead up, getting less leads, but increasing the quality of leads. And I will get into that here shortly. Now, obviously with Meta Instant Forms, you have fast submission experience. It's super low friction for someone to click your ad, watch your ad, or look at what your offer is, fill out a little bit of information, and then boom, you have a lead. Now, this is super minimal drop off. Most people will fill out the entire form. And the whole goal with this type of strategy is volume and controlled volume to a sense, because you can't obviously control what the type of customers that are coming, because you aren't qualifying the best you can. You guys aren't trying to overcomplicate this. This is the fastest way you will get leads. And if you want more leads, this is definitely the way for you, because you will get way more leads, but obviously the quality won't be there. Now that moves right into qualification. Not every lead is worth pursuing. This is where your cost per lead is going to rise, but you are going to get better quality of leads. We filter leads in two ways. Level 1 is standard. That's the form questions, budget, timeline, service. That's kind of the instant form. And the second way is with level 2, which is higher intent. They get sent to a website or additional GHL form submission, which just kind of goes deeper into level 1, but goes more rigorous. And if they're already going to your website, they're already super interested, rather than it being as simple as fill out this form and then you qualify as a lead, we'll give you a call and give you a quote. Nope, the client has to do a little bit more work in order to qualify as a high intent lead. So that way you know that they're serious and they know exactly what your offer is going to be. So this is an ad I found that I thought was done really well, and it's super simple. As you can see, there's no like AI slop here. It's just super organic and realistic. Now their offer is pretty low for industry standard, but this is something that they are offering. It looks like a business that they both started. So I'm not sure if they have crews, an office, stuff like that goes also into some of these pricing quotes, because I know industry standard is roughly like 6 to 15 grand depending on square footage. Now that being said, you can tweak this offer for you to use, and I love what they did here. They said, I know $3,800 for a full house painting. That's crazy. Full house painting is usually around $13,000 plus, right? Sort of, not really. And then they go into this storytelling, which is what I don't see with a lot of people nowadays. They just kind of use these emojis, or they just kind of add what their offer is, not going in depth to why their offer makes sense for these type of customers that they are dealing with. Now they go in down deep. And you can really just change this to whatever the pricing of your offer is. Obviously, you have to quote the job with square footage, but this is how you hook them. Also, now look at their imaging. It's not over the top. It's not even like the ones that I use. Their ICP is different. They're going for like a mid-ticket, lower ticket, interior job or exterior job, whatever their offer is. And they're going for that lower hanging fruit, which is completely fine for them, because that is who their ideal customer profile is. But I know for most of you contractors out there, your offers are a lot higher, because like I said, you have, cost of goods, you have a business space, you have labor, stuff like that. So this could still work really well for you. I would just change the text obviously to match what your offer is, but this is a really, really good example here. But after you go through the entire thing, you press learn more and it takes you to this page here. This is exactly what a GHL form would look like. This is actually pretty simple, but it's straight to the point. So let's just go through their pipeline. They have single family. How fast are you hoping to have this? Let's do as soon as possible. Then you would fill out your full name, cell phone, email. Then after that's done, I'm sure this would fire off as a lead for them. Now this one is actually super simple. They didn't ask for budgeting, or they didn't ask any more intentful questions. So I'll show you a better example. This is actually our funnel here. Also on that note, this is a shameless plug. If you guys are struggling with your marketing services and not getting the ideal type of jobs that you want, that goes more in depth and actually does all of this for you. So you don't have to worry about where your next customer is coming from. You stop relying on referrals, you stop scouring your prices to the bottom, you get the ideal customers that you want, charging the amounts that you want. We do this all for you because I know time is more valuable than anything, and I know you guys don't want to be creating ads, making sure that they are doing well, performing. You just want to have a system that you know you can rely on. Now, if you're looking to invest in your marketing sector and are looking for someone to take over this entire section, someone you can actually count on, go ahead and click the link down below and we'll get you guys taken care of. Now let's get back into the video. So this is actually the form we use to weed out some of the people that we don't want. Now what we have here is a revenue question. What is your home services average monthly revenue? Now this is specifically for contractors that we are doing this for. So I just pulled up an example that I found here. This is actually a lot better and explains it a little more. So what we have here is just going to be in the exact same format as this. You're going to have like work that you guys have done in the past, reviews on your website. You guys will have a single landing page that looks presentable so people can come here and fill out this form, and they can also see some of your reviews. Obviously they fill out their information. That's super standard. That's on the meta form. But what we have here is like what project they're looking for. Now that could be full interior, full exterior, that could be cabinet, stucco, whatever services you guys have, you guys can put there. Now this is where it really comes down to. You guys have a drop down menu here. Now, what you put there is their approximate home size. You can start as low as 1,500 square foot, all the way up to your bigger residential stuff, 4,000, 5,000 square feet. That's all really just up to you guys, depending if you guys do taller buildings, stuff like that. Now, with that being said, if someone chooses their approximate home size and they choose 4,000 square feet, which is a pretty big residential home, and they choose the estimated budget for their project under $5,000, that will disqualify them right there. They will get a form that says like, hey, sorry, according to the information that you inputted, we probably aren't the best fit for you. And depending if you guys want to sub it out, you guys can have some referral links there. But we want to make sure that they understand with the size of the home that they have the budget that also is aligned for that. And this is probably one of the most important parts of this entire system. And I can't stress this enough. Once you get your ideal customer profile and then you get them to these forms, you want them to understand that they're paying for quality, not the cheapest service out there. If they want to find the cheapest service, they go to the next guy who's a single business owner that has no crews. But you guys want them to understand that you guys are a real team and they're going to pay for this once instead of paying for the service twice because, someone does a bad job and then they end up calling you and they double pay. So I want to make sure that I go into this super deep because this is probably, like I said, the most important part here. If you aren't qualifying these prospects to the type of service that you want, then you are kind of just wasting your time and you're always going to get tire kickers. So going back to our document, there is always a trade-off there. Higher quality leads will equal lower volume. Lower friction equals more leads, but way less qualified and maybe not the ideal customers that you want. So we adjust this based on the contractor's goals, depending if they want more leads. If they want more leads, then we'll just give them the instant form. But if they actually want jobs that are moving the needle and bringing more top line revenue, then you have to go with these higher quality leads, which in turn increases cost per lead. Now, I'm sorry, but that's probably one of the most important in this entire system. That's not to say that this next one isn't as important as well. Like I said in the beginning, every single step along the way has to be perfect or has to be decent in order for this to work. If not, then you will have cracks in your pipeline and you will not see the fruits of your labor. So moving on, we have our follow-up system. And this is where most money is lost, believe it or not. This is also another super important part of the system. When a lead comes in, the contractor gets an instant SMS notification letting them know that they got a lead. They're expected to call within 5 minutes. If they don't, automated reminders are triggered because we want to make sure that we are getting in touch with these clients as quickly as possible. Typically, we see that if you do not reach out to these clients within 5 minutes, they'll go onto your competitor and reach out to them, to get the service that they are looking for. Because if someone is filling out these forms and are interested in your service, they're probably interested in doing the service rather sooner than later. So for contractors, we have a CRM system that helps them with this. If they can't reach the phone in 5 minutes and dial the lead and call them, they will also have an automated message that fires out to the client that simply says like, hey, we got your notification, we're just a little busy right now, we'll get back to you within the next couple minutes or so. So therefore you're not leaving them high and dry and they know that you are actively trying to reach out to them. We also implement CRM tracking, lead status visibility, organized pipelines. So every single lead that comes through is going through the entire pipeline and you are not losing track of where these people are. Most contractors lose deals here, not because the leads are bad, but because the follow-up is slow and inconsistent. And that is very true. A lot of contractors we see are still doing things with pencil and paper, or if they are using a CRM, they are not using it to the abilities that it is capable of. Now, I don't blame you guys because you guys are out there delivering the service and making sure that the service is the number one priority of the business, but that is on the front end. The back end is really where you can scale. If you have your systems in play, then that's really where you can ramp up the business, focus more on hiring more talent, and then scaling up the business after that. So moving along to the closing process, we as an agency do not close a deal. The contractor calls the leads, books the estimates, closes the job. And that's why we have the CRM system in place. So if they can't call the leads, then also we want to make sure that the leads are getting nurtured and they are getting a touch point as well. Our job is to deliver qualified opportunities consistently, and then their job is to convert those opportunities into revenue for their business. Also building upon that, some contractors also don't have sales experience, so therefore they're not closing as many jobs as they should be. So sometimes we build SOPs internally so they can follow a sequence every time and they're just not randomly doing a sales script that they built out or is not converting, because that's also another thing that will stop revenue or halt revenue as well. If they can't close the jobs that you are bringing them, then that's also a big gaping hole in the pipeline, because you're getting the leads that you want, but you just can't close them because of the sales. So we want to make sure that everything is tied in. Now moving to step number 6, which is retention and back end. Once the job is completed, we extend the value of each customer. Now we implement automated review requests. That's what I was talking about. Getting the reviews and getting people to talk about you is also one of the biggest things. Now you can also incentivize referral potential, and that's what I was talking about earlier. Referrals are another way you can generate more revenue without having to get a new customer. You already did all the work, you nurtured them, you paid for the lead, you did the job, and you did an extremely well job, and now they're ready to refer you out to other people because they love what you do. And we have systems that bring this alive. Also, we have Google review generation. We want to make sure that your guys' Google page is also ranking up higher because that is another source of traffic there. Increased local ranking. That all ties along with your reviews, and if you're doing some SEO marketing as well. Building upon what I was saying, this turns one job into more trust, more inbound leads, lower cost per acquisition over time, because on the back end you have people referring you. We have all of this advertising, we have all of this Google SEO, blah blah blah, but word of mouth, peer-to-peer transaction is the best form of advertising, actually, because the people you serve already have relationships with the people they are going to be referring to you. You know, that's 5, 10, 20 years of trust that you cannot build with more ad budget. No matter how much money you spend, their trust and relationship that they have built over time is more valuable than any sort of advertising out there. So once you do such a good job, they're willing to tell their coworkers, friends, whoever it may be about your guys' business. Of course, they're going to call you because the person that they went with is bragging about how good you guys were. They're going to call you guys and you're going to close that deal right there. Now moving on to traffic and offer strategy. Most campaigns fail because of weak offers, not bad ads. A strong offer looks like clear pricing. Like the example here, we have a clear offer, we have a clear CTA, what they're getting, professional painting, fast scheduling, full house repainting. This is as simple as it gets, but people will see the price, and if they like it, they'll resonate with it and they'll click it. So it saves you time and it saves you money instead of having to deal with those people that you weren't wanting to do business with in the first place. Making sure you guys have a defined scope on what your guys' offer really looks like in a direct CTA. We want to make sure that that call to action is clear as day, what you guys are offering, what the service is. And this is kind of what the ad structure is. It's super simple. Ad, they click, instant form, then it's a lead. If the offer is strong, the system works. If the offer is weak, nothing will convert. And going back to what I said throughout this entire video, each step has to be in place for all of these things to work. So for number 8, we have the conversion system behind the scenes. Once a lead is submitted, it is instantly logged. The contractor is notified. Follow-up is tracked. Pipeline is updated. These are all things that have to happen. For those of you who are on pencil and paper, those are days of old. Of course, I know guys doing $2 million a year with pencil or paper, but it is more of a headache than anything. Wouldn't you want the power of these automations to be doing all of that dirty and messy work for you, so you can step back and look at the actual parts of the business that move you closer to your goals and your desired outcomes that you really had envisioned in this business? Now, the only way to do that is building a structured system so nothing gets lost. I know a lot of contractors out there have great memory, but there's always some times where a client will slip right through the cracks of your pipeline and you'll forget to follow up with these people, or you'll just forget to reopen that conversation that you had with them because you can't track everything on pencil and paper or with old outdated systems. So this is really getting all your ducks in a row, because this is really what prevents most companies from scaling past that multi 7-figure mark in annual revenue, because without a true system, I don't think it's possible. Yes, it may be, but do you want to lose your hairs while doing this? Probably not. Our edge here is most agencies kind of just stop at ads, but we go really deep into stuff. We build out a custom CRM. So it's not just like Jobber or Drip Jobs where it's kind of a one size fits all. It's a custom CRM tailored to your business. You speak with our internal team. We build out the entire system for you, and you're constantly able to update it for things that you want. You have tailored automation flows, business specific pipelines, whatever your specific business needs. We will build it out for you, because two contractors in the exact same industry doing the exact same thing can have two totally different systems that work for them. So that's why we build this out, because no system is a one size fits all for their internal team. Every contractor operates differently, so the system needs to match how they actually work and what works for them. It's not cookie cutter, as I mentioned. So closing this out, the reality, most contractors think they need more leads. In reality, they need a system that converts the leads they already have. So my final thought with this entire presentation, if you build this correctly, you don't rely on referrals. The slow seasons don't affect you, or they affect you less, because this entire thing is working for you day and night. While you sleep, leads are getting nurtured and contacted. While you're on the job sites, leads are getting nurtured and contacted. While you're on the job site, a new lead comes in, you're getting notified when that lead comes in. And if you have a sales team, then they can take care of that. So you're just going out and quoting the job and doing the fun stuff that you started this business for. Look, this is the exact skeletonized version of the system that we use to get contractors jobs and how we deliver for them. If you actually implement this, you do not need to rely on referrals anymore or hope that work comes in for you. You control the market. If you want help building this out for your business, there's a link down below that you can check out, and we'd love to work alongside with you guys. And if not, no worries. Take all this information, implement it, and you'll already be ahead of 90% of the people out there, including your competitors. I'm going to be dropping more videos like this, going deeper into how our funnel converts and how we're making money for our contractors. So if you're trying to grow your business, make sure you're tuned in and subscribe to the channel. I would really appreciate that. But that's gonna be it for this video. If you liked it, go ahead and leave a like, comment down what you guys' thoughts are, and I will see you guys next time.